Yeah, how's it going, guys? Ed Richie Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back. It is Tuesday, and ladies and gentlemen, Test Realm could be any day here. Any day. I don't know when, but prepare. We have a whole prep list for you guys to kind of get you adjusted to Wizard101 Darkmoor 2025 and whenever that will release. So bear with me and yeah, let's just get started. First thing first, I need you guys to do me one quick thing real quick. Now at 9 o'clock, my boy, Ultimate Speedster, is going to be having his birthday stream. And I'm going to need y'all to wish him a happy birthday. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to check him out. He'll be live streaming. So, check him out. And happy birthday to Ultimate Speedster. Now, let's talk about the prep. Because I know you guys are going to leave me with a bunch of questions about how to actually get into Darkmoor. And I made a whole list. And this is pretty much stuff I've been saying for the past couple of years, or at least couple of days or months here and there. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do, and we've said it a bunch of times, complete Selenopolis, please. It's a fun area. Please. It's a fun world. Check it out. It's awesome. It's considered mainline, okay? And obviously, it released during a whole company, fiasco. We're not gonna dive into that bag of eggs, but it was a lot of confusion of rather this was like some sort of side content or not, because it is part of Crocotopia. But no, this is a mainline thing. You literally have to do it. If you don't do it, you won't be able to actually play Wizard101 Darkmoor 2025. And also, Selenopolis is pretty cool. So, do Selenopolis, please. I promise you, it's not that long, and it's not really that difficult. Just go in it. You don't even have to farm for gear. Just do it. Literally, just complete it, and that's all you gotta do. There was a lot of mixed info on it being mainline or not when it did release, because it just didn't really reach that amount of hype as what we're seeing right now with Wizard101 Darkmoor, because everybody loves Darkmoor. When Selenopolis came out, nobody knew what Selenopolis was, and that's when they also introduced magic weaving, and it just seemed like a whole thing of nothing. So do Selenopolis, please. This is my last time telling y'all to do Selenopolis. And at that point, if we see a lot of people that still have to do Selenopolis, I don't know what to tell y'all. Now, you also have to complete Wallaroo, because in order to unlock Selenopolis, you gotta do Wallaroo. Okay? So, again, it's storyline. Just do it. Now, the Nightmare Dungeon is not mainline. That is a completely optional of a train wreck of a dungeon. Okay, if you want to do the Nightmare Dungeon, have fun with it, but it's not going to matter. It's not really part of the main storyline. It's just some optional dungeon that you can either do or not do. It's up to you. I personally don't recommend doing it, but if you want to, have fun with it. I think you should do it once, but I just hate that dungeon. With all my heart, I really do not like that dungeon. Also, if you ever need a bundle or a membership or just some crowns to get into the world, well, may I introduce you to the new Darkmoor bundles. Yay, they're bringing back the world bundles. Yep, pretty much similar to the Novus bundle, and I think they made a Wallaroo bundle previously, but pretty much the same thing right here. It's in tiers. So you got the bronze tier, which is going to give you like a month of membership and a couple of crowns, and then some housing items, some vampire coffin housing item. And then you have the silver Darkmoor bundle, which is going to give you 6 months, 5,000 crowns. And then it's also going to give you a pet. And then also the housing item. But then if you want to go with the big baller, the big ball gold chain around your neck one, the gold Darkmoor bundle is the way to go. This will give you a 1 year of membership, 13,750 crowns, a Savage Werebear pet, and also the Crow mech suit mount. I know I mispronounced that. I apologize. But look at that. That's a pretty cool mech suit. I'm not going to lie. And also the Vampire Coffin housing item, which we don't know what it does. I would imagine that's probably going to be some interactable housing item, which would be really cool. But anyway, you can check all of that stuff out on the website right now. You can check the prices of it. So the bronze one is $14.95. The silver is $45, and of course the big baller one is at $99. So again, have fun with that. I didn't think I needed to make a video about it just because it was like, something to spend money on. But a lot of people actually do like these world bundles. Yeah, I can't even talk right now. Because you do get that membership and you get a couple of crowns with it. And of course you get that permanent mount, which some of these will be sold separately, obviously. But again, check it out if you are interested to get you hyped for Darkmoor. All right, so that initiates step 1. So now let's talk about step 2. Get better gear. Oh my gosh, this one might be like subjective. Good gear is very subjective. I still see people running around with like Darkmoor gear, right? I get it. It would be a nice throwback to wear Darkmoor gear, but that gear is like 10 years old, and we're coming up with content. Now we're going back to Darkmoor 10 years later. Okay, so my advice, bare minimum, is just to farm Novus. Okay, Novus gear should get you pretty much where you should be at with decent gear. I'm not saying that you have to have like bundle gear or packy gear or anything like that. Look, I see somebody running around with Darkmoor gear. Look at that. Look at that. I love it. Yeah, Nova's gear should get you where you want to be. And also the gear design looks cool. I mean, look at that. I got like blue hands behind me. This is just a stitch, by the way. I don't have the actual stats on it. I mean, the stitch of it is pretty cool. But yeah, it's pretty cool gear, and it will definitely help you out in the long time coming. Now, you could farm Wallaroo and Selenopolis gear, but they are both basically the same template, so you don't really need it. If you do want to farm for it, go for it. Have fun. I'm not going to stop you. But yeah, like I said, Novus gear, if you're at that level range around, like, I think level 160, no, that should, I think level 160 or level 150, I can't remember. But that should give you enough stats to, like, manage, right? I wouldn't recommend running into these upper world with, like, waterworks and stuff like that. But again, whenever it comes to gear and stats, it's all subjective. I've seen some really atrocious stats out there. So, hey, just do whatever you gotta do, man. As long as you live. I mean, I have a glass cannon build, so I usually die a lot. But, hey, do what you gotta do, man. And also try and maybe level up a pet. Maybe like a double resist and triple damage pet, or if you're taking a lot of damage, you can focus on the resist, or if you feel like that you're not doing enough damage, then you can focus on damage. And if you need a little bit more pierce, then maybe you could also get in some pierce talents. If you want some Maycast, you can also look for that as well. I would highly recommend you check out the pet making kiosk, or the hatch making kiosk, which is in the pet pavilion, and that will basically give you a bunch of pets that people have or that people are lending, just to see what you can make off of that. Pet making is really tricky, but again, it's just one of those things where I would highly recommend it. And you can also farm some housing gauntlets too, like the Forbidden Library or the Liches and Legends Gauntlet. You can farm these for free at housing or castle tours, if you're friends with the person, and you can farm them for yourself. It might be a while if you're farming it solo. But I would highly recommend that as well, because, again, that is gear that you can get potentially for free as long as you're just farming it. And last but not least, also make sure to check your jewels, because you don't know if those jewels might come in handy. Maybe a 10% pip opal, maybe some pierce jewels and damage jewels here and there. Just make sure to check your jewels. And then, number 3, this is also a subjective one, but gather your friends, okay? We're coming to a point now where content in Wizard101 is becoming less soloable. As in, what I mean is, you can't really solo this game at all anymore. It's kind of, I mean, you probably could, but why go through such a hassle for little reward? It might just be, might be best just to find some people to play with or quest with. If you need help trying to find people, there are a lot of resources. You can use henchmen or minions if you really, really don't want to play with other people. And you can also quad box if needed, which I also have been having fun playing on my low-level wizards. So that's been fun. But you can also use the Wizard101 Discord to find some allies. So, you know, the Wizard101 Discord has like, I think over like 50,000 members, and there's people talking on it like every single millisecond. And I'm sure that it's going to be bustling with a bunch of more people talking about it as soon as, you know, Wizard101 Darkmoor does decide to come out. So I would recommend checking those things out. And if you are like super duper shy, you can also just try using guilds. Ask maybe a few guild members. If you're super duper duper shy, then I would recommend trying team up. Most of the time when I'm solo questing, I will actually just do team ups and, you know, team ups and test realm. And if I find somebody to quest with, I'll just like follow them around, I guess. But yeah, I would also recommend team ups, and that way you can also help out some other wizards in need, and then maybe find your own group there. But for the most part, whenever it comes to Wizard101, it's starting to get to the point where you literally just can't play it by yourself. The amount of damage you take, the amount of bosses, the amount of health that bosses have, it's just like all over the place. I know that they're pushing for the team experience because obviously it is an MMORPG, obviously. But if you're a solo player, then you might find some difficulty with doing a couple of bosses. So I would just recommend trying to find somebody to play with, in my personal opinion. Hey, if you don't, all power to you, man. But I'm just saying. Now let's go into number 4, which is talking about Test Realm. Now, Test Realm is optional, but if you guys don't know, Test Realm is where you get to basically play the game early. Obviously, your progress isn't going to count, so, you know, kind of take it the same way as like the Xbox game preview beta. You're just literally testing things out, but it's also pretty fun to play. And I'm going to read you guys the terms and conditions like I do every year, and basically how to get into the Test Realm. And also, Test Realm is offline. Calm down, all right? Just calm down. But when this button does say online, then that means that, you know, you can log in and see if you have access to it. So in order to get access to Test Realm is available to members with an active membership and to Crowns players who have made a purchase of $6 or more in the last 30 days. And it also says, sorry, Steam is not supported. So if you're someone that's playing Wizard101 on Steam, you actually cannot get into the Test Realm because it's not supported, right? So you will use the same login and password that you use in Live Realm. What you do on Test Realm does not affect your characters on Live. Your characters are copied over from Live Realm. However, the levels and status of your characters on Live may not match those on Test. And basically this means that sometimes they'll do like maybe a sneaky maintenance here and there that will scan players' profiles, and then when they launch the Test Realm, it will go to that direct data that they had scanned the characters, right? So just make sure you're up to date with everything and make sure you're on your toes. Also, what else? Where was I just at? Any items that you receive or levels you achieve in this test run will not carry over to your live characters, which is obvious. Your gift button will appear, but there are no gifts inside. Your gifts are still safely in your gift window in the live game, obviously. The crowns you have on Test Realm are fake. You have not been charged for them, and they will not carry over the live realm, obviously. Anything you see on Test Realm is not guaranteed to make its way onto the live realms. That's a big one right there. This includes prices or balance changes of items, or even entirely new items. They may not even appear on live realms, aka the treasure card vault. Rest in peace, my treasure card vault. I miss you every day. But now I got alt characters, so it doesn't really matter. I still really do. I really would like spend money on a treasure card vault. Like I get it. I understand they don't like want people hoarding treasure cards, but like I would give them money. Like, bro, I'll give you money just to do that. Like, literally, I'll give you money. Like, why not, you know? But I understand it. They don't want people hoarding them and all that stuff. Anyway, we may reset characters on Test Realm to a previous state without warning, which they have done before on egregious occasions. So my fingers is crossed. I think they did that in Selenopolis. I can't remember if it was Selenopolis test realm or the Wallaroo test realm. I can't remember which test realm it was. I do remember them doing that before, and a lot of people, including myself, were really pressed because we would have to request the entire way all over again. Like, dude, it was actually, like, kind of frustrating. I was like, I think I was done with that test. I think I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna, like, do those quests again. Like, no, like, they can figure it out by themselves. And that's probably another reason why, you know, people don't really like to play Test Realm as much. I mean, it's already paywalled, so that's bad enough. But also the fact how they can just reset it back to when they first started. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, now I gotta do these quests again. Now I gotta get these spells again. You know, now I gotta fight this boss again. You know, it's like, is it worth it? I don't know. But anyway, please keep in mind, and this is in red text, but please keep in mind that this is Test Realm. Do not expect everything to work perfectly, which we know about. It's funny because sometimes the Test Realm seems so much more stable, and then when it comes to Live Realm, everything just goes to like haywire. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, or entirely balanced, your help here is greatly appreciated to discover any remaining issues before the rest of the community can enjoy the game on the live realms. Now, before logging in the test realm, please read the update, blah, 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 blah. And then once you click on this box, it will show you a little download link that you can do for either Windows or Apple devices or Mac devices. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. That's pretty much all of the test realm FAQ. We do that every year because I get a lot of questions about how to actually get into test realm. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about that because, again, I get that question every day. Richard, how do I get into test realm? So, yeah. And most of the time, most people don't even want to get into test realm because, like I said, I mean, most of this information doesn't really seem very, you know, welcoming. Especially the whole, like, reset character thing. I mean, just, you know, egregious. Hopefully, with this test realm, they do not have to do that. Hopefully, it is in a stable condition. I really hope so. But I'm just gonna be honest, if I'm having so much fun with Darkmoor and I'm at a point where I'm questing all the way and oh, you gotta do it all over again, then I'm honestly probably gonna be done with Test Realm. I don't know, it's just like it gets annoying. Like I'm not gonna put in the amount of time again to do it all over again. Because I'll be too busy playing Battlefield. Like I don't got time for that. I'm gonna be busy on my other games, bro. Like, you gotta lock in. Y'all gonna have to lock in. And now the last thing that I have in my notes, right? And this is the very last thing in order to prepare you guys for this update is reviewing your spells. And let me tell you that, guys, this is an update that has a lot of spell changes and reworks and a bunch of stuff. So sit back and watch this one. So farm for spellments, first of all, that's another one. Reset your training points because you potentially might want to train for some new spells. If you have membership, I would just wait until they do a free training point buyback because resetting your training points costs crowns, and honestly, it really shouldn't take crowns, but it does because it is what it is. But I would just wait for a free training point buyback. And then you can also discover and train for some of the new spells. Now, over the time, we have talked about a lot of spells that are getting reworked or at least changed. We talked about Dark Surge, and then over here we got Empower, and then over here we got Dark Tribute. And we don't also know if Empower and Dark Tribute are going to be cross-trainable spells. We know that these are spells exclusive for Death Wizards, but we don't know if these are going to be at a trainer at all. You know, it possibly that these could just stay exclusive, but who knows. And then over here we talked about the Rochambeau spells, which are all cross-trainable, And if you're your own school, so for example, I'm a life wizard, I get all the life Roshimbos completely for free. You don't have to spend a training point on those. But if it's something that's off school, then of course you gotta put the training point in it. And these are really good. I really do like these. And fingers crossed, as they said, you know, not everything in test realm really makes it to live realm. But my fingers is crossed that they do allow this for live realm, because I know a lot of players are really interested in these spells and how it can kind of change the way how they play a game or play the game. I'm just so excited, man. These are some really cool spells. I really just can't wait. And then also we talked about shadow packs over time as well, which also incorporates shadow fusion. But basically, the main thing for shadow packs is that you pay off the burden or debt, whatever it's called, and you know, you won't really take that much damage. It's pretty similar to backlash, but you're just paying it off debt free in a sense. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And then we also talked about the whole shadow fusion thing, so you'll probably have to have 2 cards instead of 1, and then fuse the 2 cards together, as we've already seen with the Selenopolis update with the whole spell fusions thing, right? So overall, like I said, I'm excited about this update. I think it will be fun, and especially the new spells, like I just said, I'm really excited for that. And my main hope, fingers crossed, and I know KI is on crunch time lately these past couple of years. I just really hope that this doesn't release in such a very poor and buggy state. I say it every year and it just keeps happening, but I really hope they take their time with this one, because Darkmoor hits home. Like, that's one of my favorite dungeons in the entire game. Like, I absolutely love Darkmoor. I thought that the boss was great. I thought the music was great. The combat was great. The entire dungeon was great. I liked how linear of a dungeon it was. And here's where I criticize the Nightmare Dungeon a lot. With the Graveyard Dungeon, you get 3 bosses, right? And then you get that third and final boss that has 2 phases. I loved it. And then with the Nightmare Dungeon, you're running around collecting dream water, hitting these broken dreams through a maze with very annoying boss cheats, and it just becomes really obnoxious. Now, if Wizard101 Darkmoor does have challenge mode, I would be fine with that. I just don't want them to do any mazes or anything like that. Just give me a linear battle with multiple bosses, no puzzles or anything like that. Just give me a good old boss fight where it's gonna hit hard and I can heal even harder than that, okay? Just none of the extra stuff. You're doing too much. I think that's the problem. They're doing too much. I think that's the problem I have with the game and the updates. They just be doing too much, okay? If I see one maze, I'm going to crash out. I'm literally going to record myself crashing out. Like, I'm going to crash out. Let's hope there's no mazes. Let's just hope, bro. No more Nightmare Dungeons. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. I think they learned their lesson through that, though. I think they're done with that. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me, y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. Let me know if you guys are excited about Wizard101 Darkmoor. And until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.